so today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life. Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Community Conversation. I'm your girl, PKO. We are here on another Saturday. I'm so excited to be with you, to talk to you this morning on a touchy topic, right? I'm going to push some buttons, right? But it's going to be a bridge, right? To help you and not hurt you. I want to welcome Angela for being here. Both Angela and Shanita is here. If you're here, just say good morning. Let me know where you're watching from. Classy Jackie is here. Blessings to you. I miss seeing you, Jackie. Look, I'm so excited to be able to talk to you this morning. Like always, this morning I am in my I Love Humans cup. Can y'all see that? I love humans, right? This is the cup I'm in, and I am drinking Gavalia dark roast coffee. That's what's in my cup. If you have your cup, tell me what's in your cup. Christy Washington is here. Cynthia Ongaro is here. Cynthia, you blessed me yesterday. Thank you so much. Kira Fears is here. Powerful woman of God. Talitha is here. Listen, I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. Listen, I didn't put the topic because I didn't want to discourage people from not listening. But today, look, I'm about to throw this banner up on the screen to let you guys know what topic we're going to be talking about today. Watch this. Look. The emotionalism of social media and media propaganda. Somebody say, woo! Right? I said today we're going to talk about the emotionalism that's associated with social media and the media propaganda, right? How many of you know that we're moved in our emotions when we see things on these social media sites that we engage in? Even the one that we're on right now. Look, if you are here, I want you to tag a friend. Jackie said that she has pumpkin pie spice dark roast in her cup. Thank you, Jackie, for sharing what's in your cup. Angela said that she's drinking Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin', if you watching, I'm PKO, right? We'll take all the coffee you want to send us. So today we're going to be talking about the emotionalism of social media. How many of you guys are on more than one platform? You're not just on Facebook, you're on other platforms. If you're on other platforms, I want you to drop down below and tell me what other platforms you're on. Are you also on Twitter? Are you on Snapchat, TikTok? Are you on LinkedIn? I want to hear where else you are, because right now we're streaming on Facebook. We're also streaming in a couple of other pages and on YouTube. I didn't push over to Periscope yet because that's a different market. And I want to talk to you about the people that live in these different social media hubs that we engage in, but also the emotionalism that's associated with how we feel when people are passive aggressive in their posts. Come on, somebody. When people say things or when we see things that stir us, but we know that we have to be silent, right? And so good morning. Kaylee said that she's on Snapchat, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Christy said that she's drinking Folgers in her cup. Look, that they said the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Listen, Facebook, LinkedIn. So Kira says she's on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Christy said Twitter and Instagram. I wanted to talk to you guys. How many of you realize that there's a different dynamic that happens on Facebook as opposed to LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, right? So for Facebook, you're engaging with people typically that you may be friends with, people that you know, people that you cool with, or people that are connected to people that you are connected to. Am I correct, right? You're just accepting friend requests. And then when we go look at places like Twitter, Twitter is 180 characters of conversation with people that you are typically engaging in that's a part of the media or that are in business, right? When we look at Snapchat, we find that we have a different age group there and a different demographic. We have multiple age groups, right? We have the teens, the tweens, then we have us older folks, right? Who is over 35 and some of us over 40, right? We're on Snapchat. We're using the filters. We're engaging in conversation that way because we want to give people a snap look into our life, right? It's just a moment of a look inside of what I'm experiencing that day. And then we have we have Instagram, which is more visual, right? How many of you post different things on Instagram than you post on on Facebook? Your pictures change, right? You feel like they have to be amplified because on Instagram, everybody is picture perfect. They got 30-inch waist and 40-inch hips, right? They don't need, come on, somebody, the women don't need bras to hold their breasts up, right? Come on, I said it, right? Everything is just perfect. Their booty look like a perfect P, and I'm trying to figure out if that's a filter. I need that filter too. I need that filter too, because look, I don't want to, I mean, gravity just keep them laying low, right? And so we need something to pick them up. And so listen, guys, today we're going to talk about the emotionalism of social media, right? How do you feel when people update their status? And what are the intentions of some of the things that we see from the media? Because the media sensationalizes topics and titles in order to draw you in. They'll come up with a title that's not completely truthful about an article that we're reading, and we'll go and we'll click it because it's the click and bait tactic, and we'll engage in it. And while we're there, watch this, you'll begin to see ads pop up, right, from other social sites that you may have encountered in, or searches that you just completed via Google, right, on your computer. Am I telling the truth, right? Who am I talking to? And so what happens is that the media uses titles that they know are going to stir out emotions to drive us to their website, where the cookies from other sites are embedded, and it begins to promote different types of propaganda to us, or different types of product. They'll promote clothes and shoes, or they'll promote a topic on something that you may have searched on. Today, I want to have a real conversation with you about the emotionalism of social media, because I know some people that have gotten off of social media because it was difficult for them, because people were putting up passive aggressive posts. I know some people that hurt themselves because of social media. There's been documented media articles and news stories about people who have killed themselves because of what was happening on Facebook. Listen, and this was years ago. So could you imagine how it's amplified now? Because when we are on social media, what we see is this picture perfect person, right, that has it all together. There's no issues that's facing their life. And as an individual, if that's what you see and behind the scenes you're struggling, what it will do is shift you, right? And it'll make you look at your level of worthiness differently, right? You will think to yourself, why can't I do that? I'm trying what I can do. Why am I not there? And so we begin to play the comparison game. But comparison can kill what God wants to cultivate in your life, right? We're having a conversation. Comparison can kill what's trying to be cultivated on the inside of you. Comparison can kill what you are assigned to connect to. And what I mean by that is, listen, when you compare yourself to someone, you're saying that you need to be equal to who they are, right? And you are looking at yourself in a way where the measure just doesn't add up. And I want to encourage you today that when you look at people on social media, that you can't define where they are by who you are, because this is a different chapter in their story, right? You may not have the shape like them. You may not have the following like them. You may not have the friends list like them. You may not live the life that they live, but what you have been assigned has been assigned to you, right? And instead of allowing our emotions to be stirred, what it should do is allow us to stand, right? And so today, when we talk about social media and the emotionalism attached to it in media propaganda, what's underlying in there is confidence. Because if you have the confidence that you need as women and men, right, you would be able to stand. It doesn't matter what you face or what somebody say. It won't be able to shift you, right? You would be able to stand in place of what you've been able to face. And so let's talk about updating our status. Are you ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? Let's talk about updating our status. So people put up passive aggressive posts because they indirectly are having a conversation with you, but they're not able to have the conversation directly. How many people have experienced that, right? If you experienced that, I want you to write in the comment area, me. I want you to write in the comment area, me. Say, I've experienced that. I've experienced a passive aggressive post, right? And I want to know if that was you, because I've experienced a passive aggressive post. So many people have experienced a passive aggressive post. A post from somebody that couldn't have a conversation with you directly, but they put up a post and you know that it belonged to you, right? You know that those words that they typed up on that keyboard was a sign to shift you. It was a sign to stir something something up on the inside of you, it was a sign to make you feel away, right? And oftentimes we want to retaliate, right, with the words that we have, right? But today, right, I'm going to teach you how to fight back differently. I'm going to teach you how to subdue the emotionalism that's associated with social media. Because look, there's something called the hypodermic effect. It's how propaganda manipulates your emotions. And when your emotions are manipulated, your body begins to shape new experiences, right? And so today, if we get a handle on what we see, right, and what we say, social media won't be able to shift us because we become confident in who we are. Are you still with me? Angela said baiting. Christy said subliminal posts. Christy also said they're shooting their shot. And Jackie said absolutely. And Kira said it's terrible. It is terrible. And what you have to realize, because we're talking about confidence, is that people who put up passive aggressive posts lack confidence. Look, I just said something right there. There's a lack on the inside of them that pushes them to make this post because it's all they got. Christy said something powerful. They shoot their shot. That is their shot. That's their only shot, because a mature adult, somebody that's confident in who they are, somebody that has an issue with somebody, is going to be able to have a conversation with them directly. I grew up in the streets of Brooklyn, and we didn't back talk, we didn't slick talk, we didn't behind the scenes talk. I speak to you to your face. If we have an issue, we're going to address it head on so that we can have some kind of resolve. And so my first point for you today in understanding the emotionalism associated with social media and the propaganda that the media uses, right, to manipulate our emotions, the first thing is realize that the people that put up passive aggressive posts, that's all they got. Somebody say that's all they got. That's all they got. That's all they got. But the power in that is that we understand that words are powerful, right? That they are that they can affect your emotions, they can affect your minds and your actions, they can stir you up, they can stop you, they can shift you. Words can do something on the inside of you in your life. And so you have to say to yourself, look, that's right, that's all they got. That's all they got. That's all they got. The words, right, that they posted, right, was the only way that they knew. Right. And so sorry guys, I got people calling me at the same time. And so that's all they have. That is all they have. And so that's all they got. And I want you to remember that as we go deeper into this conversation. Are you ready? And so I want to read this. There's a scandal, right, surrounding the improper use of data by Cambridge Analytica and Facebook in 2016. And I want to mention that date because it was back in 2016 where we read a story about a woman, right, who killed herself over some of the things that was happening on social media. People are bullies. They're Facebook bullies. They're online thugs, right? And that's all they got. They're not really the truth. They don't know how to stand in public, but they're Facebook bullies, right? And they said that the masses were subjected to a type of manipulation that could through the use of radio, film, and performances touch on and influence your basic instincts. And so what you do on social media, we know it's tracked, but what you perceive has been assigned to you. That's why we have cookies. Somebody say, I thought cookies was just to go with milks, right? But cookies are not just to go with milk. They're also assigned to you, right? To stir up your emotions. Y'all still with me? Good morning. Thank you. Tish Bell just joined. So look, culture works by a system of selection similar to that of genetic selection. I'm going to emotionally affect you by what I know you're interested in, by what you like, because I understand what you do when you're online. So you'll see certain posts. How many of you guys got a suggestion from Facebook about reconnecting with your old boo or somebody you know that you don't need to talk to, right? And so when posts like that comes up, it's because of searches or because somebody's been looking at your page, right? And I'm not just telling you guys this. These are facts. This is factual data, right? And there's this emotionalism associated with social media that will shift you and it will stop you. If you come online because you want to build something, you'll compare yourself to somebody else who has already built it in chapter 12, and you're only in your forward in your book. And because you don't have the fight in you, you back up and you feel like you failed. But today I want to strip your ideology of what you believe about social media. Your emotions should not be involved. If you would walk with the confidence of Christ, you would be able to stand in who you are and whose you are, and what people say would not be able to shift you. It won't be able to stop you, but it will be able to shift you, but not shift you out. It will shift you to stand, right? And so people will always say things to stir your emotions. but words are powerful. And so today, watch this. This is so good, y'all. Today, I want to teach you how to update your status, not just when you're online, but also when you're off. How do you do that? When you see people posting passive aggressive posts, you update your own status in your mind. You say, I am enough. I am a king's kid. I am more than a conqueror. I love human beings. It's okay that they did that. I'm going to get over this hump, right? Because if you allow your emotions to constantly be stirred by what you see and not what God said, you won't be able to push yourself into what you've been assigned. Is this good? Is this good? Is this good? That's why update your status. So number one, I told you that people that post passive aggressive posts, that's all they got. Number two, you have to learn how to update your status. And watch this. Let me put my coffee down. Watch this. I want to read this to you guys because it's important that you understand this. What is status? It's the relative, social, professional, or understanding of someone or something. It's a position of affairs at a particular time, especially in political or commercial context. And so when you update your status, you're saying, this is my position at this particular time. This is where I stand. Right? This is where I stand. This is where I shifted to. This is who I am. And so you don't have to update your status just on social media if you want to get rid of the emotionalism assigned to it and the propaganda that media connects you to. You have to be able to update your status not just on social media, but when you're offline. Come on, somebody. You have to update your status in your mind, right? Number three, you have to define, right? You have to define where you should be. What does that mean? Facebook may not be for you because of what you use it for. And so we have to begin to define what our usage is on social media. And we're here to connect with people, right? To cultivate conversation and relationships. Somebody say amen. And we are here because we want to cultivate our career and we want to celebrate and share our business. LinkedIn may be for you along with Twitter, 180 characters of conversation, right? And Snapchat, right? Is there, and you want to use Snapchat, it's because you're giving friends and family a glimpse of your life. If you want to be on TikTok, it's because it's entertaining, right? You want to engage people in entertainment. It can be associated with you as an individual or with your brand. Define where you should be, right? Some of us shouldn't be on some social sites, and we're being affected by things that's being housed there, right? When we don't have a goal for being there. I just said something. We are there, but we don't have a goal for being there. I know that we think social media is just all fun and games, but there is something assigned to it, right? Ask yourself, why am I here, right? What are my intentions? What are my goals? What do I hope to achieve in this process of being on this social site? Why do I need to update my status on Facebook again, right? Is it because I need somebody to see what's happening in my life? How many of you guys have been there? Look, I've been there. I couldn't wait. I was scared to death to skydive the first time, but all I thought about is I couldn't wait to post that picture on Facebook so somebody could see me in that skydiving outfit. Come on, I know I'm not alone here. I couldn't wait to go on that trip to Mexico so people could see me on the beach by the palm trees. I couldn't wait to get a new car so I could post a picture so that people could see that I got a new car. I couldn't wait to go out to dinner so I can hold up a selfie with my boo and say, look, we out here, right? And so ask yourself, what is your goal on social media? Your intentions precede your act. That's so good. You may intend it in your heart, and even though you may not follow through on it, we are justified by our hearts. Your intentions precede your act. Are you doing it because you want to be seen, or are you doing it because it's a place where you want to cultivate relationships and communicate, right? Because when you understand your why, you'll figure out how to deal with people, how to deal with posts, and how to deal with the processes and the propaganda associated with social media. Is this good? Am I teaching you guys good today? On this coffee and community conversations, right? And so we take pictures, we do things because we can't wait to update our status. It's emotional. It's emotional. I want to feel good about who I am. I want people to see who I am and what I do in my household. I want them to see my life and to see me engage, right? It's emotional, right? It's always connected to an emotion that I'm looking to stir, an emotion that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat is trying to stir up in me or an emotion that I need, right? Because I'm codependent on some things in my life. I need to feel this. I need to be seen as this. It's emotional. Wow. It's emotional. So ask yourself, why am I updating my status again? Why am I dealing with these jokers? Why do I feel like I have to prove something? You know, I have a friend up here who has a large following. She doesn't care about her likes. She's more concerned with how she closes, how she makes sales, right? And so what we see, right, we classify ourselves by what we see. And what we do, we begin to cut down who we are because we're not stars on social media, or we feel unseen on social media when we're offline, right? Our emotions are sometimes stirred and it hinders our confidence. My goodness, Jesus, have mercy. When you see somebody always doing it, always showing up looking good, always prospering, always making money, always at the top of the line, always getting 50 million, 1,000, 100 people watching, right? You got a business and somebody else got the same business and they're prospering and you're not. It's emotional. It begins to cut down who you are, and you are stellar. You are a boss, right? They just have different types of relationships than you have, right? And so you have to ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I here? I show up, I want to be seen. Look, how many of y'all take more than one selfie to get the right one? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. How many of you guys take tons of selfies to get the right one? Let me show y'all. I'm not telling a lie. This is not a lie. This is a truth. Look. Look. Look at this. Can y'all see that? I got my camera on and not the computer camera. Those are all the same picture in the same outfit. Listen to what I'm saying. How many of you are taking tons of pictures to get the right one? Let's keep it 100. Why? Because there's an emotion associated to you taking the picture, putting it on the post, watch this, and waiting to see who responds. We're not in church, but can I get an amen? You wait to see who responds. And who responds, right, stirs you up even more. Am I correct? If them jokers that you know you cool with don't like your post, you like, what happened? They're not feeling me. They're not supporting me. They're not in this with me. You know, and so you may speak to people all day in real life, but if they don't mess with you online, your emotions are stirred. Is this good or what? This is good. Your emotions are stirred. I can see you every day, right? Every day. But if you don't like my post, that could dismantle the relationship that we built every day, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, why isn't she responding to a post I posted? And she's liking posts of people that I'm not cool with, people that have been passive aggressive with me, and people that I've connected them to. Come on, somebody. I'm taking you deeper here, and we're almost finished, right? And so you begin to ask yourself, what's happening? There's an emotional component associated with updating your status on social media, right? This thing can stop you. This thing can shift you. This thing can weaken your knees and your ability to stand if you don't learn how to update the status in your mind first. There's an emotionalism that comes with media and propaganda, the click and bait to pull you in, to stir up your emotions so that you have certain types of conversation and lean in on certain languages in your life. It's emotional. My goodness. It's emotional. It's emotional. Look, I have some note here, right, that I want to read, and it's from a blog that I was reading out in the UK, and it's how journalism and social media is turning emotions and what that means. And so if the media can stir up your emotions, right, that it can define your experiences. Look, if someone can stir your emotions, it will define your experiences. That's good right there, right? And so when I'm emotionally experiencing something, if I'm emotionally going through something, it defines what I'm going to do next. My emotions are connected to my experiences. It's actually the prerequisite. My experiences is predicated on what I'm feeling on the inside. If I'm happy, then I'm going going to do something in line with being happy. If I'm stressed, I'm going to do something in line with being stressed, right? If I am mad, I'm going to do something in line with being mad. And all those things are connected to emotions and to the social media of emotionalism and propaganda. Let's see what people are saying really quick. Davina said, because people are only there for what you want and need them to be there for, and this society has told you this is what life is, and it's not. Yes. Somebody else said, my poster for me to look back on. I don't live for likes. Jackie, I know that about you. Classy Jackie, y'all. She's powerful, right? And so some people understand how to update their status in their mind. They walk with this confidence. There's consistency. There's no comparison. They don't have to be cultivated by a conversation. They're like, I'm showing up to connect with my family and friends. That's why I asked you, what is your why? What are you doing it for? Because when you define your why, you'll figure out your how. It'll limit what you're looking at, and it'll also level out what you're leaning in for. Are you still with me? Akira posted, my emotions are connected to my experience, right? Yeah. And so emotions shape the diffusion of moralized content in social media. You say based on what you feel. Anybody? You know, social media has become a place where we celebrate our loved ones who's passed on. And, you know, we have people that we don't know telling us that they're praying for us, that they're there for us, you know, and we do that because we understand that everything that happens in us is emotionalism. It's an outlet for us now, right? It's an outlet for us to lean in. We believe that our Facebook family or our Twitter family or our LinkedIn family is our family. These are our friends. I may not have ever seen you before, but even though I've never seen you before in real life, I have this connection with you through our conversation on social media, right? Anybody. And so as I walk you down a couple more points and then give you some tips on how to cultivate your social media in your life and your emotionalism, because it matters for your experiences, I want you to think about this one question before I move on. How many people have you met on social media that has become a real friend now? Anybody? You met on social media and they have become a friend now. Anybody? Met on social media and they're still friends with people now? So I've met some people on social media, guys. I've met a good friend on social media. I just so happened to stumble across one of her conversations, her talks that she had on TV. And when I stumbled across the talk that she had on TV, I connected with her. I invited her to one of my events, and now she's my sister friend. We speak on the phone. She's been a mentor to me, and so I've met a real friend on social media. Right? And so it happens. And so you cultivate the right relationships, but that goes back to your why. And so if you're writing something down, I want you to write something down, right? Right. But if you're not, I want you to remember this, or somebody write this in the comment area. Am I on Facebook to find friends, or am I on Facebook to fight? My goodness. Am I here for friends, or am I here for friends and family, or am I here to fight? Somebody write that for me in the comment area, because when you understand your why, right, you know how you need to show up. Miss Jackie said something powerful. She does it to look back on the memories. Facebook has something called the memories. And so every year you can look at what you did in past years before. So am I here for friends and family, or am I here to fight, right? And some people, because of who they are, they show up just to fight. They fight about politics, about religions, about colors, about rationalism, about emotionalism. They fight about everything. Their tone never changes. It's always hard, right? It's harsh, right? It's always critical. And so when you begin to see people that operate in that capacity, you can begin to define what they're here for, right? And so now you can take your emotions out of what they're saying, because you realize who they are. Anybody mama ever told you, if somebody shows you you who they are, you better believe them. The same thing happens for social media. When you begin to identify the signs, right, of somebody who's always trying to incite a riot on social media, you understand that you don't have to be affected by what they say, right? Because it's just who they are. So you can update your status. This is their personality. This is their position. This is their status. This is why they're here. What they say it may not be targeted towards me, but it's targeted towards a population that may affect me. But I'm not going to let it stir me up. I'm going to ignore it, right? And keep going because I've updated my status in my mind, right? Are you there for family, for friends, or are you there to fight? Is that good or what? Number two, how am I cultivating this type of communication? Right, next one, how am I cultivating this type of communication? So I'm on LinkedIn, guys, and I'm going to tell y'all this, and y'all going to be like, what is she talking about? I'm a completely different person on LinkedIn. It's ridiculous. I just had 714 LinkedIn requests, and that's because in the business world, in corporate America, outside of this Facebook coaching arena, right, people support what I do. I've leaned in. I have the language. I teach and I train. I've been on large platforms. And so I have a base on LinkedIn of people that are following me, people that are interested in me. And it's a larger base than what I have on Facebook. And when God put this on my heart, he began to ask me, why do you spend so much time on Facebook? What are your whys? And I begin to look at the reason why I want to post pictures, the reason why I'm updating my status. I mean, you can't get back your time. How are you cultivating this type of communication? You have to have intention behind it, because remember, our intentions precede our acts. And so on LinkedIn, I'm cultivating my career. I'm being consistent with being Kalila Alokanola, or KO, that is responsible for people ops. I love humans. I build people, processes, and systems. And I've had these conversations over there because the base on Facebook that I'm connected to are not interested in those conversations. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? And so the people I'm connected to on Facebook are not interested in the conversations that I can have with people who are interested on LinkedIn, right? And sometimes we feel rejected because people aren't responding to us, but maybe your market is not who you're connected to right now on the social media site that you're trying to cultivate. If you have a business and you're trying to groom it and it doesn't seem like it's working, you have to ask yourself, am I on the right platform? Am I in the right position? You know, Christy, I know that you sell paparazzi. It's Bling with Christy. I believe that's the name. If that's wrong, correct me in the comment area. But there's tons of people selling paparazzi. Christy, you may just want to move over on Instagram and just begin to post pictures of your jewelry so people can comment sold there, because I don't see too many people doing it there. Cultivate your base, define it, right? And once you define it, you can help with the details, right? You can map out the details that'll open up the doors that you can walk through, right, towards destiny, something that can help you to be successful. So cultivate in that communication, right? What are you doing to do that? So on LinkedIn, I'm Kalila Alokanola, EVP of HR, right? At True Colors, and an independent contract for 6 companies, right? I help you build people, processes, and systems. I'm interested in the diversity and inclusion and second chance hires. You know, I'm up there and I'm dropping that I went to school in Brooklyn, New York, and in UNCP, and I have certifications from MIT and Harvard. I'm dropping that I'm an author and I'm a speaker and I'm a core coach. I'm dropping those things on LinkedIn because it's acceptable there, because people are interested in having that conversation there, because they're also having that conversation. And so I found my why on LinkedIn. Now I can cultivate it, because if I keep trying to cultivate this conversation on Facebook, right, and people are not interested because it's not a conversation they want to hear, what will happen is that my emotions will make me feel like I've been rejected, when in fact I was being redirected on the right path. Is this good? Is this good? Yeah, that's right. Thank you. And so LinkedIn, Twitter, 180 characters of conversating with people. Again, I'm a different person on Twitter, right? And so on Twitter, I'm not posting a bunch of pictures. I'm just having words and conversations. People up there aren't interested in that. They're interested in verbal exchange, right? And these are people in business. These are people in media. These are people with mission. These are people that are more concerned, right, with the money and mission than they are with the propaganda associated associated with the like, right? And so Twitter, and then we talked about Snapchat and TikTok. So I want you to ask yourself, how are you cultivating the communication on the platform that you're on? How can you use it to be successful, right? How can you use it, watch this, to help keep you from some of the emotions that's been stirred up by what you see right now? Anybody? So there's a movie out called The Social Dilemma, I believe, on Netflix, and it talks about the power of social media and this digital space when people are tracking what you do, what you say, how you feel. They're popping up ads, they're making sure that you get the right alerts, right? And it's all tied to your emotionalism. Recently, we know what happened. The officers in the Breonna Taylor case, right? And I'm going to say it right. He was charged with hitting the neighbor's wall, but not charged with hitting Breonna Taylor, which is an issue, right? In the country that we live in today, is systemic racism that we still have to fight against, and we have to find ways to improve it. But I believe that all these things starts with a meaningful conversation, a brave conversation. Conversations opens up the door to details, right? Conversations, right, will cultivate who you are in a relationship with somebody. If you lean in and speak the same language, you will learn. And so I believe that we have to begin to stir up the right conversations. But because we're in this social media world, those conversations start online, right? And the emotionalism attached to it begins to shape our experiences. I begin to doubt me because I feel like everybody else doubt me. They don't doubt you, sis. You just may be on the wrong platform or surrounded by the wrong people, or you're paying attention to somebody who came up to fight and not to cultivate friends and family. Is this good? Is this good? Is this good? And so Social Dilemma talks about all these things surrounding us. And when we begin to realize that there's this big space, right, that's cultivating how we communicate with people, who we can connect to. You only see the same people on Facebook, right? It all becomes emotional. Let me keep it 100 with you guys. I'm online and I'm connected to some really large organizations, right? And I noticed that people will pull me for some things right behind the scenes, but they won't publicly say anything. They won't publicly not promote me, but push me. And when I say push me, that means, push the button or engage with me by conversation on Facebook, right? And so those things begin to stir up my emotions. And so I'm not just speaking to you guys based on something I read. I'm speaking to you guys based on an experience, right? And so what I began to realize is that I was basing everything that I did on trying to prove to these people that they needed to support me. Listen to what I'm saying. I need you to support me, and I'm going to prove to you, because I'm going to post pretty pictures. I'm going to highlight the life. But let me tell y'all a big secret. It's easier for me to tell you about the Lord than it is for me to tell you about myself. Woo! Yeah, God. I said it's easier for me to tell you about the Lord than it is for me to tell you about myself, right? I'm more comfortable bragging about what God did than what Kalila did, right? And then I found myself in this circle because emotionalism is attached to social media. I found myself in this cycle where I felt like I was talking more about what Kalila did than what God did. And I had to pull back and realize what I was doing. I had to remind people when I made those posts about those achievements that it wasn't Kalila who did it. It was God who did it through me. Come on, somebody. It was God who did it through me. And so it was emotionalism. I felt like I had to post a certain picture or say a certain thing because I wanted people to like me and people that I thought that loved me to lean in. And what it did is it made me feel rejected. It made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I began to cut myself down on so many levels until I began to realize that my emotions were shaping my experiences. I almost stopped in a situation where God told me to shift. Right? You don't have to like my status. I don't know what you're here for, but I know what I'm here for, right? And I'm not here for your life. I'm here to share the message. So I had to redefine my why, and I had to learn how to update my status in my mind, right? I had to learn how to update my status in my mind. And so look, how can social media benefit you? We're almost done, right? And what are your next steps, right? Because I have something I want you to do. Look, I got 10 ways, 10 types of social media and what they're used for, right? And so your social networks, you use it to connect with people. Your shared networks, you share photos, videos, and other medias. There's discussion networks where you are having conversations to share news and ideas. There are consumer review networks. Y'all know, look, we reviewing the restaurant we just went to or the store we just shopped in. There's shopping networks. There's economy networks. And there's anonymous networks. And so we look at places like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram as a place where we can cultivate friends and family and other types of relationships, where we can cultivate our career and conversation for people who are in similar situations like us, right? So when you look at that, I want you to take some time out today and ask yourself, why am I on these platforms, right? What is my position, right? And what do I hope to plan in this process, right? Because there has to be a why associated with it. You don't spend 5 hours on Facebook every day. That's because, do you? Do you? Anybody spend hours on social media? Because look, social media will have you feeling rejected, right? Social media will have you feeling broken and bound. It'll have you feeling alone and lonely, because those are two different things. Because people are not engaging with you. You see pictures of people together at restaurants and you asking yourself, why didn't these jokers invite me? Who am I talking to today? This is for somebody. Why didn't they invite me? Why wasn't I a part of the process? Why didn't they wish me happy birthday? Why didn't they post my picture with the happy birthday quote, right? Why wasn't I involved in that process? I thought we was cool, right? Why didn't they like what I just put up? Why didn't they help celebrate me when I posted up a picture of something that caused celebration for, right? And so who asked themselves this thing? Classy Jackie. Jackie, I need to bring you on here to tell people how to do social media. Right? And so you post those things and you're like, why aren't they paying attention to what I'm posting? Right? Why didn't they include me in this process? And so, guys, I'm going to pull up these notes for you. I'm almost done. I want you guys to ask questions. I want some comments for you. This is Coffee and Community Conversation. If you're just joining, I'm PKO. We do this on Saturday at 10 a.m. Today, I have my I Love Humans cup because I work with humans, right? I love humans, right? And I have Gavalia Dark Roast coffee in here. Anybody? Anybody? Christy said something. Christy says, some people are not going to celebrate you. You have to celebrate yourself. That's right. That's right. I'm going to put that up. I want everybody up here to say, learn to celebrate you. Right? Celebrate you. And so look, this is so deep, right? This conversation, because we realize, because I worked for a big brand, I understand that even some of the marketing that companies do are associated with your emotions. They have a type of marketing that is predicated on your emotions, right? It explores the type of emotions that you should leverage, right? In the lives of people so that you can make the sale. Look, humans are intentionally emotional beings. They like to feel, and when they do, they also like to share it with their friends and family across the social networks. And that's the most fundamental reason why social media networks thrive. Did you hear that? Social media networks thrive because we are inherently emotional beings, and we like to share it with our friends and our family across social networks. So they're thriving because you're updating your status. Listen. But there are some kind of posts that get shared on social networks a lot more than others. And so they looked at this study about what gets shared most. And so happy content gets shared faster and wider than sad content, right? Happy content. And what do they mean by that? That's things about your kids and your family, your job, your career. So happy content gets shared more. You're sharing inspirational achievements. You're amusing your fans with your wit, if you have it. And you're also celebrating yourself or celebrating the situation that people, watch this, emotionally may want to experience for themselves. And so they experience it through you. My goodness. My goodness. Somebody say they learned to experience it through me. Invoking feelings can surprise you with the number of shares you get. I have this outline of all these emotions, and this is why your human brain is wired, right? It's wired to win. It's wired to weep. It's wired to respond when you're wounded. It's wired to wait, right? When you're going through things, we're wired because we want to feel. You want to be loved. You want to be supported. You want to be cared for. You want to be looked at as being someone. And because of where we are, we've leaned in. Our emotionalism has been defined by the social media networks that we're on. They have begun to shape our experiences and how we engage with people. And then the media uses this propaganda through this click and bait to pull us in. But today I'm going to give you 5 ways, right, to focus on you and not to fall for the okie doke on social media, to get your emotions out of the game so that the experiences that you are experiencing in your life is not shaped through how you feel, but it's shaped, glory to God, is shaped through what was assigned. Are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready? Okay. Now, number 1, pace your post. Somebody write that for me. Pace your post. Pace your post. Pace your post. What does that mean? Pace, P-A-C-E. That means pace your post. That means like when you go online, don't spend hours and hours and so much time online, but pace yourself for your engagement. When you're understanding your why, you understand what you need to put out there because it's intentional. Those posts are intentional. Unless you're just looking to connect with family and friends, pace your post, right? And look, that's powerful for me because I've been jumping online, putting one post, and then I don't come back until that night. I'm not interested in what's happening during the day. If you have to do that for your businesses. They have sites like Hootsuite, right, and HubSpot that'll help you send out mass update statuses to all the social media sites at the same time. You can use that, but pace your post, right? If you pace your post, right, that means that you're being intentional about what you're doing and your level of engagement, right? You're not looking for people to promote you, but you are pushing what you want to be promoted. Pace your posts. Is that good? Number 2. I want you to write this. I want you to write this. Forget FOMO. Forget FOMO, F-O-M-O. Forget FOMO. Forget, right, the fear of missing out, right? There's this fear we have of missing out. That's F-O-M-O, fear of missing out. It has been around longer than social media. Sites like Facebook and Instagram exasperate the feelings of missing out, right? Because you think that you're going to miss a status or what somebody says. So it compels us to stay online a little bit longer than we need to be online. FOMO can compel you to pick up your phone every few minutes and check for updates. Who wakes up in the morning and grabs their phone, right? The fear of missing out. Forget it. Forget the fear of missing out, right? Let them miss you, right? Let them miss you. Forget FOMO. Forget the fear of missing out, because what that does, it compels you and pushes you to be constrained to what's happening on social media, that you can be so consumed by it that you miss what's happening in your life. Is that good? Is that good? Drive your use. Don't let your use drive you, right? Drive how you use social media, which platforms you use, but don't let it drive you. Don't let what somebody says dismantle what you believe. There's destiny attached to you. There's something that you've been assigned to do, and don't let what somebody says in an update status shift you when God has called you to stand. Don't let it stop you when God has called you to shift, right? Whatever it is, don't let an updated post, right, reposition you out of purpose, right? Don't let it cause you to compare yourself to what's happening in their lives when you've been assigned a life that has abundance attached to it, right? I want to say, somebody say amen, but this is not even Monday night, right? This is Coffee and Community Conversation with PKO, and today we're talking about the emotionalism of social media and media propaganda. We're talking about how an updated status can stir your emotions and shape your experiences. We're also talking how the media uses these taglines to pull us into click and bait, and when we get get there, we have positioned ourselves to be promoted to, right? Based on our usage online. And so we're talking about how to use social media, why we use it, when we should use it, and what we're using it for. Is it for your friends and family, or is it because you want to fight, right? And so drive your use. Don't let your use drive you, right? Man, drive your use. Don't let your use drive you, right? My next post, like my next point, right? Look, we all are people. Your character needs to be just as consistent online as it is offline, right? Your character needs to be consistent online just as much as it is offline, right? How you present yourself in real life, who you are, should be consistent with who you are on social media. I don't gotta fake it for y'all. I don't have to act like a Facebook thug if I'm not a Facebook thug. And look, I don't have to act like I'm a punk if I'm not a punk. And listen here, y'all, I'm not a punk. I had some people say some things and I want to snatch through the screen and grab them and right? Let them have it. Let me keep it real. But I had to close my mouth. I had to let Holy Spirit apprehend me and shut me up, because I realized that they were there to fight. They were there for the wrong thing. I had to put them in a classification, in a level that even though you tried to come for me, I'm not going to let you get me, right? And so your passive aggressive post will no longer push me, but it has repositioned me in power and purpose. I'm not moved anymore, baby. So my character is consistent offline, it's consistent online just as much as it is offline, right? And so that's what we have to understand. Once you understand who the people are that are talking, it repositions you in power. It no longer affects your emotions. You don't care if they like a status. You don't care if they make a comment. You don't care if they support you. You don't care if they have a subliminal message attached to you, because I've updated my status in my mind. And when I update my status in my mind, I'm saying that, Kalila, you are more than enough. Kalila, you are powerful. Kalila, you are brilliant. You are bold. You are beautiful, right? I'm updating my own status. I'm not waiting to play off of what somebody else is saying, because my emotions is going to shape my experiences. My experiences is predicated on my emotions. These two are tied. And if I want to experience the life that I know that I've been called to, I can't get caught up in what somebody said or a status that's been posted on a free social site. Wow. Right? It's free. It's free. And so I like to hear from you before I give you these two last points and we get out of here. I'd like to hear from you. How have you had trouble on social media? Has it discouraged you? And be honest, right? In some way, shape, or form, right? Have you compared yourself to people or things, and it's discouraged you in such a way that you didn't know what you were going to do? Have you experienced some of the things that we talked about? Somebody give me a me. Would you? Let me go ahead and write. I'm gonna do it first. Look. Me. Listen, I look for people to love me and to like me. And it didn't happen. And it discouraged me so bad. Anybody else? If it's just me, it's okay. This message must have been for me. I better get myself together when I'm on social media, right? And so, right. Me. Chanel said me. Christy said me. Kaylee said yes. Yeah. I mean, so Kaylee, I want to put up what you said, because you said you have to delete people to control negative content. I agree. You have to delete people to control negative content. But look, deleting them just moves the problem. If a new problem resurfaces, you're going to have to delete them again. And so instead of deleting them, you have to learn how to dismantle it. And so what I'm teaching you today is how to dismantle it. How do you dismantle how people make you feel in your emotions that will often shape your experience, so that when it happens, you don't have to worry about deleting people. You can let them see you win, right? You can keep them, on your friends list if you want to, and you can continue to stand. They're no longer affecting you. Deleting just hides the problem, but dismantling it uproots it so that it can't affect you. And so look, the vicious cycle of unhealthy social media use. Like, this is how you know that you have to fix what's happening. When you feel lonely, depressed, anxious, or stressed, you use social media more often. It becomes a way to relieve boredom or feel connected to others. Number two, using social media more often, though, increases the fear of missing out and feelings of inadequacy, dissatisfaction, and isolation. Number three, these feelings negatively affect your mood and worsen symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stress. And number four, these worsening symptoms cause you to use social media even more. And so the downward spiral continues. And so once you begin to identify some of these signs, if you don't begin to dismantle it from the root and define people based on who they are because they showed you, you'll continue to spiral and it'll affect your mental health. And then social media no longer becomes a place of freedom, a place where you can celebrate, a place of happiness, a place where you build friends and family, but it becomes a place where you fight. You're no longer fighting people, you're fighting you. My goodness. You're fighting you. You're fighting you. Is that good? That was my whole point for all of this. And I'm going to finish with that. I used to get so upset about how real friends in real life would never like or comment on my posts, but would love everyone else's. It made me feel some type of way. I was all in my feelings, but I had to learn to let go of that. It is what it is. Look, Kira, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, completely with you. It makes you feel like it's something wrong, right? And so even though today, watch this, we were talking about the emotionalism of social media and media propaganda, right? And I just gave you guys some of those things, right, that identify this vicious cycle of unhealthy social media when you feel lonely and depressed, anxious, or stressed, and you're bored and you need to go online to feel connected to others because there's nobody you can connect to in real life, or you use social media more often and it increases your fear of missing out on something, and then you feel inadequate and isolated, or these feelings will negatively affect your mood and worsen your symptoms, like you get depressed or anxious or stressed, and then these symptoms cause you to use social media even more. It causes a downward spiral, because what you realize is this. You realize that the people that you looked at that were passive aggressive in posts, right? That you know who they are and now you can define them. The people that you know are not there for family and friends, but are there to fight, right? You realize that you're also there to fight. You're fighting you, not them. You're fighting you. Woo! So the emotionalism of social media and media propaganda is about what people are doing to you, but it's also about what you're doing to yourself. Why are you here? Why are you updating your status? What are your emotions causing you to experience and do in your life? Are you posting pictures because you want props? You want people to celebrate you? Ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? Because they have made passive aggressive posts. Yes, friends don't like it, but are you hurting yourself more than they are? Wow. Woo! Somebody say, KO, this was good right here. This was good. You're fighting you. And so I go on social media. There was a season I was fighting Kalila. I was fighting PKO. I was fighting KO. These are the personalities of who I am. This is Kalila Alokanola. This is PKO. This is Pastor Kalila Alokanola, right? And that title came from me being the associate pastor at the sanctuary. Is PKO, and then I'm KO. I'm at work and I have to be tough and aggressive, right? When I'm dealing with people. And so I found myself updating my status, and I wasn't fighting with people. I was fighting with me. Hey, God. Woo! I was fighting with me. I was fighting with who I needed to be because I wanted people to see. Come on, somebody. I was fighting with who I needed to show up as. I was fighting with what I needed to post. I was fighting with what I wanted to showcase. I was fighting with who I wanted to connect with me and conversate with me and the relationships I wanted to cultivate. I was fighting with me. And so the emotionalism that shaped my experience and the propaganda from the media that made me click and bait was because of what I was experiencing in me. The fight wasn't with the person that was that I thought it was. The fight was with Kalila. And so when you show up on social media today, I want to encourage you to show up as you. Today, I want to tell you guys, I showed up as me. I got up. I said, I'm going to put on what I want to put on. If it's Team Too Much, it's okay because I'm Team Too Much. That's who I am. That's what I'm learning to be, right? I got on this funky shirt and these earrings. Let me fix this little thing. You know, they got to be even, y'all, right? These little things, is it even? Look, I got to fix that. Okay, whatever. And I'm putting on these things, these earrings, push my hair back, put on some makeup. I picked the cup I wanted. Look, y'all, it matched a little bit, right, with that green at the bottoms. And so I decided to show up as who I am. Am I Kalila? Am I PKO? Am I KO? I'm all of those people, right? And every part of me, I'm okay to showcase because there'll always be a part of you that people won't clap for, but they don't have to clap for it, right? Because you're cultivating you. You're not waiting on somebody else to do it. My goodness. It's good. Good. So who are you showing up as? Who are you showing up as? Are you limiting your language because you're afraid of what people say? Or are you soaring to the heights that you need to soar because you know who you are? Christy, post your jewelry all day long. My goodness. Right? Who are you showing up as? So if you're just joining, I'm PKO. This is Coffee and Community Conversation. And today we talked about the emotionalism of social media and media propaganda. We talked about what happens in the digital space. We talked about some of the emotions that are stirred with subliminal posts and messages that shape our experiences. It shapes who we are. We talked about the people that are online that make passive aggressive posts. And we asked, are they there for friends, for family, or just to fight? We talked about defining people for who they are and what they do, right? And not second guess it. If this is all you do, then it's not for me. This is just who you are. I'm okay. And we talked about the power of understanding your platform, because when you understand your platform, you know what your purpose and your outcome and expectations are when you get there, right? And we talked about updating your status, not just online, but updating your status in your mind, because it has to be updated here first before it updates on social media, because people can say things that can stop you. It can make you stand, or it can shift you. And if you're updated in your mind, right, you won't be able to move because you understand your mission and your mandate. My goodness. And then we closed and realized this. We are fighting not with the people making the post, but we're fighting with ourselves. We're fighting because we're posting pictures because I want you to see me skydive. I want you to see my new car. I want you to see my lovely house. I want you to see me looking cute because I got 50,000 selfies in my phone and I had to take them so that I can post the right one. And then I had to go back and look at how many people liked it. And look, I am judging you. I'm judging how many people like that. I'm judging you for not liking it because I thought we were cool. All these things that are happening in our life, and what we realize is that the fight is not with social media. The fight is not with media propaganda, with their click and bait and their positioning. The fight is with you. Who are you showing up as on social media? Are you fighting with being who you are and who you are called to be because of the people that are watching? Woo! My goodness. My goodness, this is good. And so look, I want you guys to take some time out and to look at your social media, cultivate it. Look, TD Jake said that sometimes you have to pack to-go plates for people and send them off. If you want to delete people, delete them. But that's not going to dismantle the issue, the root of the issue. When you delete people, you hide them. When you dismantle the issue by starting with you, you no longer will be affected by what people say or what they do or how they position themselves in the post. You are powerful. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. I mean, you are beautiful, bold, and brilliant. I don't care what color you are. You are gorgeous, right? And listen, let me tell you something. It's time for us to keep going. Somebody say, somebody write this down, right? I'm ending with this. I know we talked about social media and updating status. I want you to write this in the comment area. I am updating me. Woo! I'm updating me. I'm updating me. Y'all see this? I am updating me, right? And I don't care how people feel or what they say when I show up. I am updating me. I'm no longer fighting, right, with the fear of what I see, fighting with the fear of what they're going to say. You have to move with the winds that's blowing in the shift. Somebody say, I'm updating me, right? You may update your status, but while you're updating your status, I'm updating me. I'm updating who I am. I'm updating what I stand for. I'm updating what you see. I'm updating what I say. I'm updating updating me, right? I am updating me, right? A new you is immersion. You're not going to be moved by what people say or what they think. You're only going to be moved by who you are and what you've been assigned. Somebody say, I'm updating me. That's right. Moving on up. I wish I had George Jefferson, right? Say something. I am updating me. Don't worry about passive aggressive posts from people, right? They show up to fight, not for friends and family. Don't fight who you are because of what somebody else is doing. Learn to cultivate your conversation and communication on social media in a positive way. You be the change. But before you update your status online, you need to update yourself, update your mind, update what you've learned, update your language, and update how you lean in. Francis, thank you for joining. And yes, you're updating you. You're powerful, Francis. Anyway, thank you for being here. I am updating me. I'm updating me, right? And it's okay for you to show up as you. It's okay, right? Because everything that we see, right, with social media serves to pull on our emotions, and our experiences are predicated by my emotions. So look back at your life and realize what you have responded to based on how you feel, and it may not have been fact. Oh my goodness, I'm updating me. Listen, we got like 7 Angelas up here. The Angelas are taking over. Look, that's all I have for you today, right? That's all I have for you today. And look, I want to encourage you to soar in who you are and what you believe you're called to do. If you believe you should start a blog, you should write a note, you should start a business, I want you to go for it, right? Don't limit yourself because of what you see happening around you. It's not too late. Somebody else's chapter 12 is not going to look like your forward in your book. Just keep going and get started. Update you. And then once you update you can update your status. My goodness. So look, I'm PKO. Thank you for joining me for Coffee and Community Conversation. Like I told you, I have my I Love Human cups, right? Because I love humans. I'm in people ops. I build people, processes, and systems. I talk to you guys about those different personalities. I'm a different person on LinkedIn and Twitter, right? I am this thought leader for human resource operations and processes that nobody on Facebook knows about, right? I've been on multiple platforms in front of thousands of people talking about these systems and processes and cultivating culture and working through new systems for second chance hires, and nobody knows. I couldn't have that conversation because nobody's interested in that conversation on Facebook. But guess what? I'm updating me. I don't care. I'm updating me. I don't care. So it's time for you to keep going, for you to cultivate the conversation that you want to have, because sis, bro, you are powerful. Thank you for joining me today for Coffee and Community Conversation. We're here every Saturday at about 10 a.m., maybe 10:15. Y'all pray for your sis, right, to get better. I just believe I have an assistant now, and so I'm excited. She's going to help me get myself together. If you need me, I'm an inbox away. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you got something out of it. Have an amazing afternoon. And so today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life.